Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Deidre. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Awesome to have
Thank
you.
you so much for joining us. Before we talk about the 25th annual DC Independent Film Festival, please tell the viewers a little bit about your background and what you do.
It's really wonderful to have a chance to talk to you all. So the DC Independent Film Festival is, as it sounds, about independent film, and it is also an independent organization. That's so we cover both angles. And we've been here in Washington, D.C. for quite a long time. Actually, this is our 25th year. We started in 1999 and have kept it going primarily as a volunteer organization, which we think is pretty impressive. People give their time, and we keep wondering if we should survive to next year. But yes, indeed, we are needed by the filmmakers, and that is indeed our mission, to support the filmmakers. And I have been running the festival now for half of its existence for 14 years.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We love independent filmmaking here and independent organizations. So it's such a pleasure to get to chat with you. Now, let's talk about what's happening this year with the DC Independent Film Festival. What are you excited about? What's the theme this year? What are you looking forward to as it comes to this year's festival?
So, we're excited about many things. We don't really have a theme usually because we are a competitive festival. That means that films are in competition and so they get submitted. So it kind of works that our program builds depending on what is good that we receive. And this year, I'm delighted to say we've received a lot of good films. We are actually a larger festival than we have been during the COVID years. Not too surprisingly, I'm sure, on that one. And we have expanded this year to a few more venues, sort of capturing the energy of Washington, D.C., which is not always downtown now, but in other areas as well. We have some great feature films. We have a wide connection of short films. We have documentaries. And we have an animation section that we are expanding slowly into its own festival eventually. So we have developed that, which is all going to be at Union Market. And we're honoring a particular filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker coming from the United Kingdom, UK, my old home country, who has worked for 30 years with a very well-known documentary filmmaker called Werner Herzog, who has now transitioned into the bad guy on many films.
Well, this is incredibly cool. 25 years is nothing to sneeze at, and it's great to hear that you are expanding in your 25th year. Can you tell our viewers more of the details about the dates and location for the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So we run 21st through the 25th of February. I might point out, though, that the weekend before, we do have our high school filmmaker film festival. Just in case anybody young is listening, we have 2 days of work by high schoolers from across the country and across the world. And I have to tell you, those high schoolers are catching up with us. They are making some pretty good stuff. But the main festival is the 21st through the 25th, and the bulk of it is at the Regal Gallery Place, downtown DC, conveniently right close to the metro station, and central for all the filmmakers that come to town. We expect a good 50 to 60 people to turn up and take part of this with us. That's part of the point of the festival, is that when you go to see a film, you get to meet the filmmakers, you get to ask questions, you get to hear more about what encouraged them to make the film, and we put a great deal of attention to people having time for those conversations. So now we have in fact made the time for the conversations almost as long as the time for the actual screening of the film, so that if people want to hang out and talk, they can.
Awesome.
Yep. And our second venue is at Angelica Pop-Up in Union Market, and that is all our animation.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, how can people purchase tickets for this?
Super. So we have it out on our website, which is www.dciff-indie.org. If you scroll down, you'll see all the films in competition, and there'll be a place to buy tickets. We also advertise on Eventbrite as well. So you can go and find our collection of films and what we're offering on Eventbrite. And you can also, if you want to, some of the films are posted at Film Freeway, which is for the independent film world, it's where a lot of things happen.
Wonderful. Joining us now are three of the filmmakers from one of this year's films, For All Have Sinned. Welcome, everyone. Please briefly introduce yourself, and let's start with John.
Hello, I'm John Sellman. I am a movie writer, producer, and director for a movie For All Have Sinned. And along with me is our creative director. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
How you doing? My name is Maurice Taylor, and I'm the creative director, cinematographer, and the editor for All Have Sinned.
Awesome. Welcome, John. Welcome, Marie. Such a pleasure to have you joining us here. And let us talk about this film, For All Have Sinned. So I'll throw it out to John, and you can start and, tell us about this film and how it all came together and all of that.
This film is pretty near and dear to us. It actually came from a thought that our creative director, Maurice Taylor, had during COVID. He said, I want to do a film about someone who pretty much avenges other people or someone that kills people, but I wanted to be a church person. And so we had to come up with a creative way to highlight this activity with this particular gentleman revenging or becoming a vigilante in the name of the Lord, if you will. So we came up with this great concept from a great line in the Bible: "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God."
That's certainly a very unique concept to come up with. I'm interested to know why religion or church was important for for this story as you thought about it and came up with the concept, Maurice. What were you trying to say with bringing in religion as well as this vengeance as well? Because in the Bible, the God of the Bible can be very vengeful at times. Vengeance is his.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about coming up with the concept and the religion behind it.
Well, I'll go first. I know for me, as I was writing it, we all have a very big church background. We all grew up in the church together. I'm a minister of music at my church, and Maurice Taylor is a musician as well. So to come out and bridge the gap between the world and where we talk about God, but not giving so much of the main idea for what God represents in the story. We wanted to kind of bridge the gap between the two. So to be able to creatively deal with the psyche of the mind for those who are in church, because realistically, a lot of things happen. Our mindset, even though in the church, could be very convoluted sometimes, depending on what happens in our lives. So being true to really feeling how we feel, because a lot of people can feel hurt or upset when something happens. We took an idea of someone who's in church dealing with something that's an out of church experience and trying to handle dealing with that all together.
Wonderful, Maurice.
Yeah, so my idea behind it was I was just thinking of a preacher, and John changed it to someone that was just in the congregation. I thought of it as a preacher who was a vigilante outside of church, and he was, taking care of people who the law couldn't get. And I just thought it was a cool idea. And also, I really am a fan of the Equalizer series. So I always just wanted to, instead of a cafe, I wanted our main character, Mano, to work in like a small like unique library or bookstore, you know, like one of those little ones with the little tarp that hangs over the front window and it just looks very vintage. So that was my idea going in, but I told John the idea that I had and he took it and ran with it. It was like, he was like, yeah, I like that idea. I said, okay, cool. He said, I'm gonna write a script for it. And I just was like, okay, cool. And about 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, he said, hey, yeah, man, I wrote that script. And I'm like, what script? He said, for RSN. I said, oh, you really did that? I said, all right, cool. Send it over to me. Let me read it.
Awesome. Well, chat to us a little bit about the filming process. I know, Maurice, you were the director of photography. What was the filming process like, you know, casting, getting everyone together, and how long did it take to really, you know, get this entire thing together, you know, up until, you know, finally ending with post-production and all of that? What was that entire process like?
So we started, John got all the actors because John does stage plays a lot. So he knew a lot of actors. I also work with a group of friends who I also do make short films and things with. So I have access to actors there. So me and John put our connections together and we just came up with the cast. But mostly with the cast, it's all John. I'm more of the camera side and the editing side. So I have a video. I think we started filming in April of 2001, I believe.
21. Yeah, 21.
Yep, April 2001. And I think we did the last scene probably in November of 2022. So it was, like I said, everybody donated their time, just like the film festival. Everyone in this film donated the time, all the locations, they were donated, everything was donated. And I own all the camera equipment because during my day job, I am a creative director, so I do that type of work at work. But yeah, so everything was donated. That's all I can say. And it took us about about a year and a half to film. And then as we were filming, I was just editing the scene. So when we would take a weekend, we would film a scene, and then I would take it home, log it and everything, and then I would edit it down just rough. And then I just did every scene individually in its own little sequence. And then I just started putting them together into a bigger sequence. And then I just filled it up with like space holders and things like that. So it took me probably the whole entire time to edit because I edited like as we went along. But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, tell everyone when and where this film will be screening. Of course, it will be at the DC International Film Festival, Independent Film Festival, sorry. And where else can people see it? Will there be like, will it be on the festival circuit? Will it be on streaming soon? Talk a little bit about how people will get a chance to see this amazing film.
Right, right now it's on the film festival circuit. We actually sent it over. We were in the European film festival. We came in the finalists for that. We had a couple of local film festivals that we entered in, the Black International Film Festival, which we won for, and then a couple of other places. We're looking at a couple of more places like Detroit, Charlotte, Miami, I believe, Los Angeles, and then from there we'll go ahead and try to get it on Amazon Prime once that's done, and then start working on our next projects. We have a lot of projects lined up, so we are ready to handle those things. And for the DC Independent Film Festival, we will be showing our film on Saturday night. I believe that's the 22nd or 23rd.
24th.
24th, excuse me, yeah, 24th. At 9:10 p.m. from 9:10 p.m. to 11 at the Regal Theater, which I believe is 701 7th Street, Northwest off the top of my head. And we will be able to have that screening. You can get your tickets through the DC and an Independent Film Festival website or Eventbrite and come see our movie. So we can get a lot of people in there and hopefully have more viewers for the film festival, which we're totally excited about and cannot be more thankful for the opportunity to be in that film festival.
This is so incredibly cool. Thank you for sharing this information with us. And before we close out, please share with our viewers how they can learn more about you and what's upcoming, what else you're working on, and how they can stay up to date. John, let's start with you.
All right. Well, Maurice Taylor handles all of our contacts and all of our social media. So we do have a For All Live Sin webpage, for all live sin the movie.com. We also have a Instagram page for All Have Sinned the movie. And then a lot of our stuff runs through our creative director, Maurice Taylor, and he can provide you his information as well.
My Instagram is GoGoMo, just straight GoGoMoe. And John, I wasn't listening. You gave him the our For All Have Sinned the movie is also Instagram as well.
Yes.
Great. Deidre, we'd love to hear from you too before we close out.
Well, we're thrilled to have this film. We really like to support local filmmakers when we see that they have a future and that they're go-get-'em type people, and very impressive that they pulled this film off on such a what we call mini budget. Not even small. I think mini is the way to look at it. So I think it's wonderful. We really are excited to have this film festival. We really know that this is the kind of place that talent starts. This is where people incubate. We've watched our alumni over the years go on to the Oscars, to success. Actors become well known. Directors make their name. And so we feel that when you come to our festival, you see extremely high quality work. Being independent does not mean that it's not high quality, presented by people who are passionate about what they do and really interested in engaging the audience. And so, yeah, come along and have a good time.
Awesome, awesome. And to our viewers who are watching, please go ahead and look in the description below for links. Deidre, it's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you, getting to learn more about the DC Independent Film Festival. John and Maurice, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you much success on your wonderful film. And we thank all of you for being our guests today, and we wish you much success in this really, really tough but fulfilling film industry. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media.
And click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And while you're there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, viewers, thank you for watching.